As always, very active time as we continue looking at all the sites. I want to show you site by site or region by region. A lot of activity. When you look at Region 1, only one site has not been started in Region 1, which is a Calhoun site. That requires a tower mod, so we're going through the paperwork to get that done. Every other site in Region 1 is either completed or waiting for power. For example, we have this one in Warren County, Hooper site is completed. We're waiting for the electrical power. Once we have electrical power, there's a lot of things we can do. And then the Hardin site, which is in the process right now, the foundations are in. The tower build has started. I looked at photos this morning, and the three bottom legs are actually stacked. So that process is going to continue through this week and next week. So we expect that tower to be completed by the end of next week. So 21 out of 25 sites are powered. We look at Region 2, and we have 11 sites. All of the sites are either done or in process. Out of 11 sites, 9 of them are completed. The 10th one, which is a Fort Dodge site, KTIN Fort Dodge, which is an IPTV site, is completed with all the civil. We're just working right now on hanging the antennas on the tower. Chickasaw up here, which is a lease site, the construction process has started. Region 2, all of the sites are built and they are now powered. The only one that hasn't started is Rock Rapids up here. This is the one that's gotten a little bit complicated. We got some quotes for the replacement and for the build out. We didn't like what we got, so we asked for more quotes from different vendors, and so we're still working on that one. I was expecting to make a decision last month, but we decided to get more quotes so that we can do more of a competitive bid to build that site. That's an IPTV site. Region 3, again, every site is built and powered. Region 4, the majority of the sites are built. Again, Davis down here and Muscatine down here, these are the two lease sites. So the construction is in process. Davis actually has already dropped in the shelter, the generator, and the tank. So there's some additional things to get done, but we're expecting to get power there pretty soon. Muscatine started a little bit later, but all the flat work is in progress right now. And then Keosauqua is the other IPTV site. We've done the civil work at the site. I believe the power is still not available, but it's going to be available pretty soon. I didn't get an update in the last 3 days for Keo, so it's possible that's actually power there now. All of this is very dynamic. It changes every day. And then Region 6, again, all the sites are built and powered with the exception of Dubuque and Zewingo. Dubuque is another lease site, and that process has started already. And then Zewingo, we thought we had power, and it turned out that things got a little bit complicated with the power company. So we backed that one out. It was red. We turned it back to green until we resolved the issue. We still expect to have power there by next week. So overall, when you look at the numbers, again, how many sites have not started in the statewide system? 2. One is a lease site, and the other one is an IPTV site, because these are two complicated sites that take a little bit longer. We have 6 sites that are active and 4 sites that are done, but we're waiting for power to be delivered. So overall, we've made a lot of progress, a lot of activity going on. Here's a statewide view, kind of helps put that in perspective. So in this case, red is good. The green dots, again, the green dots are sites that are done but don't have power yet. And I believe this one up here is actually has power when I was talking with somebody this morning, but I don't have confirmation. So here's a four lease sites that are being built, are active right now. So again, the only two that haven't started is this one, Calhoun, which is a lease site, and this one, which is Rock Rapids. Calhoun is a microwave-only site, so there is no effect when it comes to the coverage. It's basically a microwave relay. Here's a snapshot of what coverage looks like today with the modified 700 megahertz plan. Remember, we had tuned most of the sites already, and then we found out we had some interference issues with the one of the adjacent states. So we stopped and we went back, redid the channel plan. Once we did the channel plan, we're working with the state PM, Craig Allen, to get concurrence from all the adjacent states. We believe we had a pretty good plan, so I didn't want to sit and wait for that. So I started, as resources became available, I started to put them to start retuning the sites. As of now, the only feedback we got was from Nebraska. We did have an issue with Nebraska. So we developed a new channel plan, a third channel plan, but it only affects 2 of our sites. So we have 2 sites that we have to retune on our side, on the Iowa side, which is a win-win because that way we don't affect them and we absorb the hit, which is only 2 sites. So the impact will be minimum. So all I need is a final concurrence. We received concurrence from all but 2, Illinois and Wisconsin. And we're expecting to get that, if not by the end of this week, next week. At that point, we can unleash the rest of them and keep on the retuning process. What I'm showing here is 2 colors. The green, again, this is what's up in the air right now. The green represents mobile coverage, and the orange represents portable coverage on street. All right, so I had mentioned last time that we were, if we wanted to, we could actually start doing coverage testing in selected areas. So what I'm showing here in this map are the counties which we could start doing coverage testing today if we wanted to. But again, we want to make sure that we get the letter of concurrences from everybody before we start that process. So in here I have these 5 counties. So the number in red, what that represents are the sites that are important to us to be able to test that county. So for example, Lynn County there's coverage that's provided by 4 sites that surround Lynn County. In Benton, there's 6 sites. So what that means is that we got to make sure that those sites are up and operational. So when we do our coverage testing, our tool is actually listening for those 6 sites. So if Benton needs 6, but there's only 5, we don't want to start because then there's 1 site. Even though we might be able to achieve the requirement, we don't want to do that because we know that there's a total of 6 sites that provide coverage for that county. So we want to make sure that all those 6 sites are retuned and ready to go. So right now, Jasper has 6, Powercheck has 6, Iowa has 5, Benton 6, and Lynn 4. So a little number in the bottom here, for example, in Benton, that represents the number of test tiles. 1,273 for Benton, 1,276 for Lynn, 1,042 for Iowa, and so on. That represents what that number we figured we could do each county in about 3 days. If it's just 1 person with 1 coverage tool. If we had, in this example, if we had 5 teams, which we're expecting 10 to 12, we can do all these 5 in less than a week. And then over here in the middle is the capital area, again, which is ready for testing as well. The difference in capital area versus the rest of the counties is that the coverage requirement for all the counties in the state is for mobile coverage. The capital area is for portable on street. Given the smaller area, the coverage tiles or test tiles for the capital area are a lot smaller, about 100 meters each test tile. Whereas for county level, it's I think it's 3/4 of a mile. So in this example, Polk County would be covered for mobile, but we also have to do the portable for the capital area. So there's 2 sets of tests that we would do in Polk County, one that focuses on the county requirement and one that focuses on the capital area requirement. Everything else is county requirement. So again, about 3 to 3.5 days per county. So what we're looking at doing is we'll probably like to start in the capital area first because it's a lot smaller. So we can get multiple individuals involved so everybody can see, again, what we did, what the results are and whatnot, so that we can prime everybody so that when we start with the counties, then we can start with multiple groups at the same time. So summary, it's getting repetitive, build. We have 6 sites in active construction and 1 that's going to start in the very near future, which is at Calhoun 1. It's all about the microwave right now. So the sites are up. We got to go through a retuning process, but the antennas are up and whatnot. So right now, the focus is on making sure that the paths are properly aligned. So we're adding more teams to that so we can get even faster as we move on in order to keep the timeline that I'm looking for. We're starting the process and we're continuing the process of integration for the DPS dispatch centers, 4 centers throughout the state, which includes the support of all the conventional VHF stuff that's out there. Also, this last month, we rerouted resources for the deployment of the STR and provided the portable radios to support that event. And also, we reallocated resources to make sure that the Marshall site was up and operational to be used if anybody needed it. So once the STR was there, we had a team of folks working on Marshall. Once Marshall came up, then the STR was removed. And right now, we just continue to re-optimize all the sites with the 700 megahertz, the new 700 megahertz channel plan, so that we can mitigate any interference issues with adjacent states. Right now, it looks very positive. It's taken a while, but I think after many calls and conversations, I think this last one will be it. So I'm expecting that to be resolved by next week. That being the case, again, the capital area is something that we're going to try to jump on quickly. We've been working with DPS to get the what I call the golden test radios set aside. These will be mobiles that will be on trays that will be calibrated and optimized and tagged so that everybody knows that these are for coverage purposes and certified to be optimized. That's all I had. Any questions?
Alan, when did you put the first tower up?
Sorry?
When did you put the first tower up when you started this project? Trying to get a timeline of when we started to where we're at today.
So, wow. I think, Well, the first piece was all the paperwork, so it felt like in 16 we did the Lucas building, which was not a tower per se, but it was an install in a radio shop. And then after that, I'd say about the third quarter of 16 is when we started putting up towers.
Okay.
Do you have an estimate of when the testing will begin in Polk County?
Um,
Ballpark for planning purposes.
So for Polk County, we have one site that we're waiting for, and it was Hooper and Warren County, which we're expecting power. So as soon as we get power to that, I think, and Story County, we're powering that up as well. So it's not that far. I would say probably within 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, what part of Nebraska was giving you the heartburn on concurrence?
Nebraska makes use of a data system, and some of that spills into the Iowa side as well. And on the Iowa side, some of the frequencies that were being used were from the state allocated pool. But we're working with all the stakeholders, and some of that stuff is going to be going away anyway. It's going to be decommissioned. So what we did was we didn't want to force people to leave. So the approach we took was, let's see what we can do internally so that we minimize the effect on them, which basically resulted in 2 of our sites having to be re-optimized.
Is that the Glenwood and Underwood?
No, it's, I believe Harrison is one of them, and I think Carroll's site is the other one. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.